Today is a holiday out here in Vietnam, at least in the northern side of it. And I'm out, get my running. And as you know, holidays in Vietnam are rather chaotic, rather crazy, and everything gets amplified, usually not in a positive way. So I thought today, because I was sitting down with a friend having some coffee, we were just talking about these annoying things. He went on a rant. I didn't. But I was realizing I could have out ranted him. So today I want to talk about those things. The five things that really do annoy me about living in Vietnam. And after 10 some years, they still drive me nuts. Like I've just never been able to just get used to this stuff. So let's get into number one, the most obvious. Driving. Driving is not restricted to just cars, buses, and motorbikes. Driving out here is so bad. There's no rules. There's like no system to the game. I know a lot of people like to say, when you cross the road, do this, do that. The people typically are honking. That's how they communicate, stuff like that. This is all justification for stupidity. Nobody really respects the lights. Nobody looks. Like we call these poppers. Like you have like a main intersection, like small alley roads. They'll just fly out. They won't look. Very common to see cars do U-turns, stop in the middle of the road. I talked about this on another video where a guy missed his turn on a highway. So what he did was he stopped and he did a U-turn. And the speed limit is 120 or 150 kilometers an hour. So it's like 50 to 70 miles per hour. And the dude stopped and did a U-turn, and our bus literally was on two wheels. Almost hit this guy. The driving out here is insane. If it's not the honking, it's like just the chaos. Like when we were walking, we were going through this park. These guys are driving through the park, honking at us on the walking path in the park, and we just turned around and looked at him like, "What?" And he's just like, "It was just like, what are you doing, bro?" So I would say number one most annoying thing that I have never got used to in Vietnam is definitely driving. Before I get off the subject, because I think it's important, is our buses. If you do come out here, let me give you a little like advice, if I can. If you're doing like the whole motorbike drive, or if you're just driving a long distance, once it starts getting dark, I strongly suggest getting off like, highways, getting off like bigger roads. This is when you start getting all the sleeper buses. You'll start getting all like the semi trucks, cement trucks, stuff like that. These guys are insane. They don't care. They will hit people and keep driving. They will run people over. There is so many accidents that are related to like motorbikes, getting hit while on motorbikes and their life is over. And this typically happens with like sleeper buses in larger vehicles. I don't know what it is out here. Mindset, if you have a truck or a car or a big bus, you're better than everybody else. And it's just a chaotic thing. So do keep that in mind. But with that being said, let's get on to number two, trash all over the place. Now, this isn't just limited to like if you go to like a Starbucks coffee and a bunch of people are sitting at the table. When they leave, they just leave all their trash like all over, like the most dirtiest way possible. I'm talking more about what you see throughout the city and the culture and the mindset around it. Vietnam is one of the dirtiest countries I think I've ever seen where it's self-reflected. Now I know, like we have the Philippines, I think is the most dirtiest in regards to pollution in the ocean. But these countries have like India has 1.5 billion people. China has like 1.3 or 4 billion people. Right? These are a lot of people. I get their bigger lands. I get all that. The idea out here and why I think it's such a big issue, why it frustrates me is one, I'm not an environmentalist per se, but I don't like walking around trash all the time. It's just, it seems bad, you know, like I always clean my areas. But when you're in a country that is completely opposite of you on that respect, it's frustrating. And it really goes down to the culture. People just throw trash everywhere out here. Like nobody cares. It's like I was actually just at the store about 20 minutes ago getting some coffee, and I came out the coffee. This guy's drinking a like an orange juice, like a bottled water orange juice, whatever it was. And after he finished, he just threw it across the street on the ground, like just threw it, like did not care. Like you did this in Thailand, you get so much trouble. You did this in Japan, the police are being called. Like and it's just throwing. I kind of looked at, it, I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like, and he drove off. Like he was just like, "What are your problems, bro?" So the pollution, the trashing is horrible. And if you do ask people why, it's typically the government will clean it up for us. But if there's one thing I've learned out here with the friends I have, and just living out here, they can't clean up the trash of 100 million people really well, you know. So it is a problem. I don't think it'll ever get fixed. I get so many comments about people optimistic, like, well, Vietnam's getting educated about it. They're learning. They're not. Like I see people that are like I see the kids, 5, 8 year olds, they're doing the same thing. I see the teenagers, they're doing the same thing. Everybody does it. Nobody's learning. And you can go to like Vung Tau, Haiphong is a good spot. Like District 2, District 7 in Saigon, Old Town in Hanoi is another good spot. These places are clean. Really, once you get out of the western sides of stuff, it's just really bad. Again, this is a culture thing. So when I say the Westerners get out of there, once you get out of the tourist areas, even in Da Nang, when you get out of the like the main tourist beach road area, it starts getting pretty dirty as well. So it's just something that's out here. You kind of got to get used to it, and you can't win. I see so many Western people. I mean, some of you guys watch this might be some of those people that like go to the beach and you just start cleaning up trash, putting it in the garbage can. Like it doesn't matter. Like I've seen a lot of older women. I think they're like Europeans. They come out and they just kind of clean up the trash on the beach in today. And it's like they pick it up and it's like right behind them, somebody's just throwing trash on the beach. It's just like nobody cares out here. So it's something you get used to. I've never got used to. It still angers me. It still pisses me off. It frustrates me. And when you bring it up, nobody cares. But here's the catch to it. The funny part of this, actually, I just thought about this. If you, a Westerner, a white, black, Mexican person that does not live here, you're not a citizen here, if you start throwing stuff on the ground, you will at times get confronted. Hey, can you pick up your trash? This is our country. Can you respect it? You're the guest. You know, can you show a little respect? You'll get those type of like comments, and it's just hilarious. As they're doing it, they're throwing cigarette butts on the ground or throwing something on the ground. So you will run into that. I've had a few people actually front me on that because we were doing YouTube videos like years ago where it was a joke like parody video that I don't know if they ever posted it or not because it was pretty offensive, but it was pretty much like a parody of how Vietnamese act, but it was like the Westerner do it. So like we went to stores and I was like kind of like pushing in front of line and like just paying, like demanding service. We got the waiters, we just started yelling like when we got to like coffee shops. So like, hey, come on, ah! You know, like doing weird things. And then yeah, we'd walk by Vietnamese and just throw stuff on the ground. And we realized when we did the trash like skits, locals got angry at us, but we would see them right before doing it. So it's just kind of a weird thing. Like it's never gonna really pick up. And that kind of brings us to the third thing that I noticed. Self-awareness in Vietnam is a huge zero. Nobody really pays attention to what's going on around them. They don't really understand how their actions affect other people. You know, like if you lived in Japan, been to Singapore, for example, like people are very cautious about what's going on around them. They're not yelling on their phones. They're not doing things that are annoying to other people. I guess you could say they're just respectable to other people's, you know, surroundings or their surroundings rather. And that's something you don't see out here at all, man. You'll be at a restaurant with your family, nice restaurant, and then a group will sit like next to you, whatever, right? But they'll just start like yelling, screaming, putting their feet on the table, throwing trash next to you, and like it's just like, what is going on right now? Is this a joke? Is there a camera somewhere? So the self awareness is crazy. I think the biggest thing that I run into is like the cell phone and the yelling. Like you'll be at a restaurant, you'll be at a restroom at a bus station, and people just get on their phone oh, and just start yelling. Or you'll be in an elevator, they'll have their phone like playing a game loud as possible, echoing in the elevator. Stuff like this happens all the time. It really frustrates me. And what I'm talking about, I do want to bring in number four, being just yelling in conversation. This is another thing too. Nothing's really quiet in Vietnam. You know, you hear the honking, the traffic, the factories, the chaos, stuff like that. The talking is the same. If you guys have ever been a teacher, you know what I'm talking about. When you're in a classroom, you're teaching, and it's like they're yelling the words as loud as possible. They're trying to be louder than the other person. The yelling is insane out here. Everything is so loud. Everybody yells all the time. Like nothing's quiet. Like I live in a rather large condo, and it's two condo rooms per like section. So it's like four. It's a square pretty much. And sometimes I can hear the guy down the way just in the hallway just yelling on his phone. And it's just like I can understand some of it. It's just casual talk. It's like, hey, how was your day? Did you see the game? Like stuff like that. And I go out there and look at him. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? He's like, oh, sorry. And he goes in his room. Hey, what are you doing? It makes no sense, man. But the yelling out here, it's part of the communication. There's not like an inside voice. So nobody seems to know. Let me know if you know. Unsolved mysteries. And then let's get to the very last one. This one's more of a more for the teachers. This thing has been bothering me forever. I've actually started two companies because it's frustrated me so much. One of them did well, the other one's still kind of open. But that is the massive amount of cheating in like schools. And I'm gonna particularly just focus on English because a lot of you guys watching this are English teachers or you want to be. The English classes out here, it doesn't matter where it is. I'm not gonna name anybody, I'm not gonna name any establishments, but it doesn't matter where you go. It's always cheating. It's always about a quota. It's always about who has the highest mark. And it's not about the students like earning them. It's not about the students studying hard and being the best. And granted, there are a lot of students that truly do focus and truly do earn high marks and do very well for themselves. But that's like like the small 5 to 7%, right? Majority of students cheat. And the thing about it is it's not even like them cheating, it's like the establishment's promoting it to the point where like they give out the test, they tell the students, hey, get your pencils out, and then they put the answers on the board. It's like, just copy it. Hurry up. I'm trying to go to sleep now, right? That's a very common thing. And then they just promote it to the next level. And you can kind of see the problem is with this. When you keep promoting somebody to the next level, you have to pretty much do two things. One, you have to slow the class down. And this affects the smarter students that actually earn their grades, right? I mean, if they're in level 3 English, you should be able to have like pretty good basic conversations at this point, right? But when all they can say is hello, and you have 80% of the rest of the class that can have that basic conversation, you pretty much have to dumb your lesson down for that one student that kept getting fake grades and pushed up all the time. So that's a big part of it, and this kind of becomes a culture thing. When I was in Vung Tau, I did this like program with this group of Western people, and it was teaching local teachers in Vietnam or in Vung Tau how to teach Western subjects, math, science, English, and all that stuff to Vietnamese students. It was pretty much trying to help them learn Western education so they can teach their students this way, like more creativity in the education, right? And we gave out the test. These are all adults. These are like principals, teachers, senior teachers. Yeah, yeah. As soon as we gave them the test, the first thing they did was like they went straight to copying. So I mean, it's hereditary almost, right? So the cheating out here is intensive. It's not just the kids doing it though. Again, I think the thing that bothers me the most about it, that annoys me in Vietnam, it will never end, is that the fact that the ones educating are the ones that are cheating the most, right? Like, and I've worked with TAs, I've worked with managers, Vietnamese teachers that have children. They cheat these scores and then they put their kids in these same schools and they brag about, like, well, we're at this expensive school. It's like, you firsthand know that these kids all get fake grades, so it doesn't matter. It's such a weird idea for me. So I think that kind of cuts it for today. I've ranted way too long. I don't want to have a big negative video, but I will say overall, guys, if you want to go to an amazing spot this summer, Ted is about to start. Vietnam is definitely a spot to go. I think this year, because I always try to recommend good spots. I think this year, Vung Tau, Hai Phong, Saigon will be your best 3 spots to come check out, definitely. So let me know below though, what are some things that annoy you about Vietnam? Like pet peeves that like just you can't get over. With that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Have a good weekend, and I will see you again.